I have a way above average EQ. I have a way above average EQ. I've traveled the world. I've experienced shit that you probably have never experienced or maybe even never will experience. I've met millionaires, billionaires, absolutely everything. So you will 100% get value from this video because there's close to zero chance that you exceed my knowledge and my experience based on all of these points. So today's video is going to be about, if you understand these 11 things, your life will become a lot easier. So let me actually change the mood for this video and sit down. How did we get to record this video? I was in the kitchen earlier cooking steak and I was just thinking about a concept and thinking, okay, once you understand this, your life actually becomes easier. And then I thought to myself, I've said this to myself quite a bunch of times recently and just wanted to make this YouTube video to help you. And no, this is not some generic advice you hear on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok all the time. No, these are well thought out concepts that there's zero chance you've heard all of them in this order before ever in your life. So let's get into the very first one, which is some people are thought leaders, but majority of people are thought followers, which is completely fine. Okay, it is fine. Not everyone can be a leader. Majority of people are followers, and you just have to understand what you are. If you consume content, do you consume that content and you completely follow that now? Like whatever you hear, you consume that and you really become this new person or whatever? Or do you question what you're consuming? Do you really try to evolve this thought? Do you really try to second guess and really try to see behind curtains, for example, and try to really understand what you're consuming and if it is good for you? Or are you really coming up with your own thoughts as well? And there's nothing bad with not being a thought leader. As I said, not everyone can be that. But if you identify that you are a thought follower, then you should be very careful with the thoughts that you follow. Because the issue is that majority of people nowadays, or probably always, have been very shallow. Like there's no real depth to people, and there's a bunch of guys that have a very big audience. They're just talking a lot of nonsense nowadays. Like everyone has a platform, and the louder you scream. But we get later into that in this video. The more eyeballs you get, the more ears you get that listen to your words. So if you're a thought follower, you should really be careful what thoughts you're following, because this will genuinely shape your life and your reality on one side. And then on the other side, majority of people cannot or do not want to think for themselves. They rather follow thoughts. So again, if you're a thought follower, you should definitely try to make sure to follow the right thoughts. And if you're a thought leader, I'm happy for you. Make sure to lead with the right thoughts on one side, but also be very vocal about them so people can start following the right thoughts. So this is the first thing that you have to understand. And once you understand this, life becomes much more easy, no matter on what side of the coin you are. The second thing is, and I've realized this multiple times, I've traveled the world, as I said, I've met millionaires, billionaires, I've met cool people, I've met loser people, I've met absolutely everything and in between. And the life genuinely never changes. And social dynamics never change. It's just the circumstances and the specific situations that change. What do I mean by that? I do mean by that your whole life essentially is like a big high school journey. Like it's that simple. Back then, when you were in high school, there were the cool kids, you had the cool hot girls, you had the ugly girls, you had the weird nerd, whatever dudes, you had the people in between. Like pretty much more or less you have these 5 different groups, like the cool dudes, the weird dudes, the hot girls, the ugly girls, and the people who are kind of like in between, right? And online money, or no matter where you go in the world, it is completely the same. If you talk with billionaires, if you talk with millionaires, if you talk to all these people, there's this common ground of, okay, everyone is a millionaire, everyone is a billionaire, everyone is a student going to school, to uni or whatever. And within these circles, you still have the cool millionaires, you have the loser millionaires, you have the cool hot chicks that then hang out in this circle that everyone desires, and then you have the also not so cool girls that no one really desires, and then you also have like the people who are kind of like in between or like try to fit in, right? So no matter what what situation you're in, what social dynamic situation you're in, you always have these groups, and you just have to understand which group you belong in. And what I want to tell you is that most of the time, it's not even desirable to be in one of these cool groups. Oh, you're some of the cool guys, blah, blah. Because if you're in these circles, there, what happens is that you most of the time have one thought leader, and then all the others are thought followers. So even if someone do some stupid shit, people will be like, oh, he's cool, let us do the same stupid shit. Like, they're just followers, right? Majority of the time, the golden people, like the gold nugget people, are always the guys who are in between. Like, they can be cool if they want to, but they can also be like nerdy if they want to as well, which is a skill. Like, they can adapt based on the situation that they're in, and most of the time it makes sense to be a person like this, which is like very real and doesn't really give a fuck if someone's cool or not cool or a nerd or whatever. You just hang out with who you fuck with, and that is very important to know and very important to understand, because the girls in the end will always choose like the cool, real people with good personality. If everyone competes on money, for example, if you're in a situation where everyone has money, the girls will still choose like the cool people. Like, no one will give a fuck how much money you make, right? It's the same with billionaires. Like Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men on earth, has his new wife now, and recently at an event it came out like that she was flirting with Leonardo DiCaprio or whatever. So no matter how much money you make, bro, like, girls will always fall for the guy that is genuinely cool as well at the same time. The next thing, this was the second thing. The third thing, once you understand this, life becomes much easier, which is also more tied to making money, is that your bank account is ultimately tied towards your self-worth, which is very simple. If you have low self-worth deep down inside of yourself, like, you don't think you're that skilled, you constantly think there's other people out there that are smarter, better, more handsome, sexier, whatever than you are, then you can be the smartest person in the world, you will not succeed. You will not make money or anything, because in the end, everything is about confidence, how you carry yourself, and kind of like the aura that you bring with yourself. And if you don't have that, it will be very hard for you to succeed in any domain in life. It might be sports, it might be money, it might be health, it might be whatever. If you don't carry yourself with confidence, and if you have generally a very low self-worth, you will not make a lot of money. I have a bunch of really dumb friends, and many of these core sellers, gurus or whatever, if you look at them and if you look at their message and what they do, they're stupid as fuck. But they genuinely think they're great at what they're doing, and they're smart as fuck, and they're cool as fuck and whatever. And they're very vocal about this. So they have very high self-worth. So all of these people who are better, smarter, whatever than them, who have lower self-worth, look up to them, because the aura and the energy they have just catches the people who are under them that have lower self-worth, and they will always look up to these other people even though they have nothing on them besides confidence. But confidence is the most important thing, right? Especially in this whole new online money bubble. You can just talk about yourself, how great you are and how you are the best and stuff, and you don't even need to prove anything, and people will believe you because you say it with so much confidence, and that is just a very big point. So that was the third one. Once you understand that your bank account is ultimately tied to your self-worth, you'll be a lot smarter, because if you're broke, it probably just means you don't have high confidence and your self-worth is quite low, and then you would just need to understand what to do in order to improve that and change that, and then you will make more money easily. But I can record another YouTube video on that topic. The next one, the fourth one, which was a very hard pill to swallow and a very hard thing for me to learn this year, but it is a very good lesson to learn, especially earlier on as well, once you're younger and the figures are not that high, is that there is no business integrity left in the online space. I would say about myself, and other people would say the same, that I'm a very honorable person. If I say I'm going to do something, I will do said thing, even though it does not make too much sense for me in the end. But if I promise something, I keep my promise. Or if I say I'm going to deliver, I am going to deliver. And that's always been the case, and this will always be the case. And now the issue is, this is not the case in the online space really anymore at all, because there's no consequences if people do not behave or act the right way. So back in the day, if you think about it, there were many like there were many businesses, of course, as there are today, but your sample size, let's just say, or the clients that you have, like your total addressable market was a lot smaller, and it was in your area. So if you look at your local shoemaker, factory, B2C, B2B business or whatever, if they screw someone over once, twice, 3 times, soon everyone in that area will know, and no one will do business with you anymore. So you had to have a great fucking reputation to stay in business. Otherwise, people will not do any business with you, and it will be a lot harder for you to succeed. Versus what happens nowadays, some random motherfucker from India can scam me. Doesn't even need to be India, it can be Germany, can be Serbia, can be US, can be UK, can scam me. And if I don't have a big audience, like no one will ever learn about it. So people can just go on and on and on and scam their way up to success. Obviously, at some point, everything will break down most of the time, but it does not always happen, and you can still make a lot of money while not being an honorable person. So the question is just like, do you want this or do you not want this? But you have to be very well aware of the fact that there is no business integrity left. And I've had friends in the past where I thought like they were friends and yeah, we trust each other and this, that, and then we want to make a deal or want to do some work, or they confirm they're going to do come or whatever, something, and then it never happens. And then you just understand, okay, you care about these people if you have this integrity, but these people do not care about you the same way you care about them, or you care about the work, or you care about your reputation, because like they don't give a fuck, and they have never experienced any consequences on that front, right? So once you understand that, it's a very very good for you to know. So that was the 4th one. The fifth thing, once you understand this, your life will become much easier, which is you just have to understand when it makes sense to give up and change what you are currently doing. So this might be a tough one, this might be a controversial one, because your favorite thought leader or course seller, Alex Hormozi, Iman, or whoever, always try to tell you and sell you the idea of, oh, if you work long enough, you will, or you never give up, you have to end up successful, blah, 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 bullshit. It is not right, like it is not correct. You can work for 80 years and you can also not give up on something, and you can just push through a super hard phase for years and years and years, but there is no guarantee that you will make it if you work on the wrong things, if you don't work at the right pace, and if you're not in the right situation or don't kind of like have the right things aligned for you to make something work. So they say you have to give up on achieving your dreams, chasing goals, and all of these things. No, I'm not saying that at all. The main thing that I'm saying is that you really, really have to do a lot of reflection and understand, what am I doing? What am I good at? Does it make sense that I'm doing this? And for how much longer does it make sense for me to try do this? Because what could I have done in the meantime, right? In fact, the most successful and the smartest people ever give up fast and frequently if there's a better opportunity to pursue. Look at all the biggest companies in the world. They've all started with something else when they started out in comparison to what they were doing now. Apple, Microsoft, all of these different super big companies, even Nintendo at the start did something completely different. All of them changed once they saw, okay, something else makes a lot more sense. And we don't even need to look at these super big companies. We can look at smaller companies, or like our online companies as well. People start with dropshipping, or agencies understand it's not the right business model for them, change 1-2 times until boom, they find something that sticks. And it's been the same for me. I've had my marketing agency, then we transitioned to just doing events, then we transitioned to mainly having our online community, we transitioned to having both at the same time now, and now we're transitioning into coaching and info at the same time. Or as I record this video. So these have been like 4 transitions within the span of 5 years. While all of them have been quite seamless, I understood when I have to make this tactical transition, because it is the better opportunity to pursue at this given moment. And you just have to fucking sit down, bro, and understand when this right situation is for you as well, and then just make that change. And most importantly, or even more importantly, make it fast. Like the faster you can do these things and the faster you can test and fail, the better for you, because you just save a lot of time. So if you genuinely feel like what you're doing right now is not the right thing for you, there's probably a reason why you're thinking that, and there's a better opportunity to pursue out there, and no one has to be a business owner. There's so many people, they wasted years and years and years of trying to become a business owner and they failed, whereas at the same time they could have just become a team member, an exceptionally well-paid team member at another company, and could have made so much more money in the meantime. So you don't have to run your own business. My current COO, after leaving his company, tried to do his own thing for months and months and months. He burned money, didn't make it happen. Now he makes a fuck ton of money working for me because that's just what he's good at, right? So you really have to understand this. When does it make sense to give up? And if you give up fast in order to pursue the next thing, which is a lot better to do. So this was the 5th thing. The 6th thing, once you understand this, is that money won't solve all your problems. It will just amplify who you are, which is a very important one. Because I have many friends. Like I have friends who make 10K per month. I have friends who make 1 million a month. I have friends who make 5 million a month, and everything in between and whatever. And the common mistake that I do see is that people only focus on making a lot of money, like making money. They think once they make 1, 10, 50 million a year, all of their problems will be solved, and that is not the case. And to be even more specific, it is mainly about the whole social interaction side of things, right? So you make a lot of money and now you think suddenly the friends will appear, the girls will appear, you will have this crazy lifestyle and all of that stuff. And trust me, this is not what is going to happen. As you level up your monetary bank account, you have to level up your kind of like skills in life and experiences bank account as well. And now what majority, like 90% of the people do, which is the even worse thing that you can do, is they again try to use money in order to solve this new problem now. What do I mean by that? By that I mean that people now, let's just say they have no social skills, they have no risk, they have no aura. Now they try to go to the club, pay for girls, pay for models, take them on yachts, take them on trips, go on paid trips with models in order to experience how it is to talk to models and all of that stuff. And what they don't understand is that they paid for that. They never learned the skill of riz, of social skills, of all of these interactions themselves. Like they paid in order to get there. So if they now go into a situation where they have to get out of their way in order to talk to a person like that, in order to network, anything like this, it will not work because they never learned the root of the skill and they never built a solid foundation in order to get to their goal or in order to achieve these things. So a very good example for this is the Jeff Bezos one, for example, I mentioned earlier, where he almost got his girl snatched on a party by Leonardo DiCaprio just because Leonardo DiCaprio is fucking cool, bro. Like both of them have money. Jeff Bezos probably has 100 times more money than Leo DiCaprio, but Leo DiCaprio has risk. Like he knows how to behave in these situations and stuff. Like he genuinely developed this skill. He's cool as fuck and all of these things. Yes, he has clout. Jeff Bezos has clout too, but the other one just has way more social skills. So you watch this video, you probably make a lot of money or you're about to make a lot of money. There's a high chance you don't have the best social skills. Go out and work on that shit, because the last thing I want you to realize is that majority of people also in this online space who make a lot of money are still fucking losers that have no friends, even though they make a lot of money, because they never learned how to talk to people properly. They never experienced cool shit. They don't know how to talk to girls and they're just pussies. I'm sorry to break it like that. And they don't have anything going for themselves besides having a lot of money, which doesn't even bring you that far if you don't have anything else to bring to the table. So the faster you understand that you just have to be cool maxing, become a cool person, do cool shit, the better for you. Now, this is the sixth thing. The 7th thing is you have to be open to feedback and understand that no matter what person you're talking to, they are probably better at something than you, right? And then also the next thing that comes into play is you have to always be open to learn, especially if you want to learn something, and then don't think that you are the best at something either. Like we are talking about certain topics, we're helping people become better at certain topics as well. Let's just say networking, let's just say Aura, let's just say Riz, or like all of these social dynamic things. And we've had I had a friend, like my brother posted a few stories and then calling a few people out on like what they're missing and skills and stuff. And then one person replied to a story saying, "Oh, I'm glad I don't have these issues." And then my brother said, "Bro, like you absolutely do have these issues. You just don't see it or you don't want to see it." And then he said, nah, I'm good, right? So you have to be very well aware of your strengths and weaknesses. And even though, especially when it comes to social dynamics, it is a quite tough pill to swallow. You have to put your ego to the side and understand, again, there's people who are probably a lot better at certain things than I am. And we have people who make 100, 200, 300K per month who are already very good at Riz, at Aura, and all of these things that still paid my brother for consultation because they understand, even though they're up here, he's up here, and they still want to close that gap, right? So if you want to evolve as a person, you want to become better, you want to overall improve, then you have to put your ego to the side completely and be like, okay, there's nothing bad in admitting that someone else is better at something than I am, even if it is a tougher pill to swallow, most of the time anything girl sex related, and just go with it and just pay money or admit it, ask for help in order to become better at these things. So yeah, don't be too arrogant ever to think that you can't learn anything no matter what it is about. Once you understand this 8th thing, your life becomes easier, which is, and this is a controversial one, people say, oh, you are the sum of the 5 guys you surround yourself with. And I have said that same shit in the past, but I don't fully agree with this. The sum of the 5 ideas you surround yourself with just amplify who you are even more, let's say. Same with the money. So people say, oh, if you hang out around 5 drug abusers, you will be the 6th one. If you hang around 5 millionaires, you will be the 6th one, blah, blah, all of that stuff. It is not true. It genuinely is not true. It will just expose yourself to what is possible. You will expose yourself to what is possible, but this is not a guarantee whatsoever for anything. Like I myself, once I was on my come up, I only surrounded myself like with regular friends, regular people and all of that stuff, but I still grinded it out by myself. I still started making money by myself, and I scaled my company. Then I started surrounding myself with other more successful people, and then I scaled even more. But this was just the amplifier. Now I have friends that I brought with me. I introduced them to other people. I introduced them to millionaires while they were broke, and they're with them and they never had anything going for them. So not because you put yourself in a certain environment, it will guarantee something, not at all. It will just, again, amplify what you already have inside of you. Another example on the other side is that I have a couple good friends in Serbia. They are very smart people. They're very funny. I love them, but they also consume many drugs. And they sometimes consumed drugs while I was with them at their house or whatever. And I was there. I was very well aware of the fact what is going on and what they're doing, but never, ever once, ever in my life have I touched anything. No alcohol, no nicotine, no cocaine, no drugs, no weed, no nothing, even though I'm very much exposed to all of these substances through the nature of my business, through partying a lot, through sometimes meeting these people, through getting offered this a lot. So I'm constantly in this environment, but it doesn't affect me at all. Even though it does affect other people, it just amplifies who you are. It does not affect me at all because I'm genuinely not doing these things. And you can put whoever next to me, 99% I will not do it. You can never say never, like you never know, but so far it has never happened, and I'm very confident that it will never ever happen because that's just not who I am. So the situation and surrounding that you're in just amplifies the ideas in your mind that you have in your mind, right? So that is the next thing. The 9th thing, we're almost coming to an end when it comes to this video, is that majority of men are driven by pussy. It sounds harsh, it sounds very direct to the point, but it is the case. Like I have a bunch of friends, they make a lot of money, and after they've made a lot of money, everything they think about is fucking girls. They go on a trip, they want to risk girls, they go somewhere else, they want to risk girls, and if they don't get anything going for themselves, as I mentioned earlier in this video, they are down to pay other people who bring girls to a trip in order to fuck them, which is fine. Like, majority of men, that's just who we are biologically, are driven by women. Like, we are driven in order to conquer, in order to plant our seed, and in order to spread our semen, and that is completely fine. But I feel like, have just forgotten that that is really who we are. And majority of men are just driven by that, and majority of men are just are open to do a lot of things in order to achieve that. Some guys do it a little bit more effortlessly, some guys are a little bit more desperate, but overall, deep down, if you think about it, majority of us focus on that. And pussy can be on one side host, just fucking a bunch of random bitches on random trips, like IG thoughts that Saudi princess poop at, and you, I don't know, look up to them on Instagram, how much you wanna have sex with them and shit. And other people look for a wife, which is technically pussy as well, which is just like women overall. So it is quite obvious, but in the end, all of us are driven by that. And you would be shocked if you found out how many people are very, very much desperate for these things. So even though they make a lot of money and you might think all of them are successful, you will be shocked once you realize how many of them have no risk, cannot talk to a girl, and would do everything in order to touch some pussy, essentially. Which is quite sad, but it is what it is. Then the next thing is, the 10th one is cherish and nurture the relationships you have currently, which is a very important one, especially for young business owners. The whole idea of traveling the world, doing stupid shit, all of that stuff is amazing. I've done this myself, I'm doing this myself, this is my business, I make money doing so, creating the content and stuff. But so many people chase after this imaginary lifestyle so they can post all of these things on Instagram. But in the end, what matters the most is your close friends, your close family, the relationships you have with these people, and how much you love them and how much they love you. No matter how much money you make, no matter how well the business does, no matter how much you traveled the world, no matter how many bitches you fucked, and no matter how many online friends you have, none of that matters if you're not truly fulfilled from the inside. And I've gone through this period myself, and I have many friends who are going through this period for years now, which is, even though they make a lot of money, even though they travel so much, they still do not feel fulfilled at all. Zero. They just chase the next high, they just chase the next trip, they just do the next big thing. And no matter where they go and what they do, they still feel zero fulfillment. But why is that? Because they do not appreciate the little things and the little real relationships they have in their lives. They kind of like abandon their family in order to avoid paying taxes, in order to live this dream lifestyle in Miami and Cape Town and Dubai or wherever, only see their family a couple times a year, don't really have any connections to their old friends because you have to abandon and neglect all of these things. And now they genuinely feel miserable, which is very sad. And I've experienced that myself, but I've also experienced the other side of the coin, which was the simple moments with my family, with my friends, being more thoughtful, how much joy that has brought to my life. And how much nicer finding a balance is. Bro, I fucking love traveling. I fucking love partying as well. I fucking love having fun, doing crazy shit, renting the biggest villas and yachts and all of that stuff. But I also love sitting with my family, bringing my mom to my office and my auntie and show them what we've built, drinking coffee with them. That's actually what I've done half an hour ago before I started recording this video. And sharing these little moments with them. And them also sharing little moments with me. We're so occupied with work, with the business, with money, with all of these things, that we do not have any mental capacity whatsoever for the little things that matter in life. And the issue is that you can have commas in your bank account, a bunch of them, but wait, I wrote this down. But if you're not wealthy in life, it means nothing. And wealthy in life means relationships with the right people. And good memories with the right people, and nothing else. Genuinely nothing else. That is wealth in life. So even if you have commas, even if you have a fuck ton of money, if you don't have this wealth in your life, you have nothing, brother. That's just how it is. And now the last point of this video, maybe we do a second part of this video, is that you probably don't have friends. You have acquaintances that you spend time with because you can afford it. And that was a very tough one to learn for myself as well, or to realize this, which is in the online money space, and this video is targeted towards online money people and successful online entrepreneurs. Once you start making money, you start meeting a bunch of these people. You maybe start meeting some online influencers, and all of this is cool. You travel together, you make a lot of money together, maybe you help each other make more money, like you start business together and shit. But majority of the time, the main reason why you spend money, why you are close with these people, quote unquote, was the same reason you had so many friends in school, was because you had this one thing unite you. Like, look back at your school days. How many friends that you've been friends with in school are you actively talking with today? For me, it is one person. It genuinely is one person, and another person that I'm talking to here and there that I'm seeing. And if you stopped making, like, being in the online money space tomorrow, how many of these people would genuinely stay friends beyond just the making money side of things? So majority, and I'm not saying there's anything bad with that, I just want you to think about it and give you this food for thought, which is majority of the people that you have in your circle, if you have any, are acquaintances. They're not very good friends. Like, if you died tomorrow, how many people would fly across the world in order to attend your funeral? That is a very good question to ask yourself, and then just like make a list of all your friends and just ask yourself, like, how many people would do that? And then, and if you can't really call out your friends, or you don't care about them, or you always talk about business and fucking bitches and nothing else, like no dreams, no deep shit, no heartbreaks, you can't cry in front of each other, any of these things, then you do not have proper friends. You just have acquaintances. And again, there's nothing bad with having acquaintances. I have a fuck ton of these as well, but I'm just like scaling down on them. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So this video is now 32 minutes long. I hope you liked it. If you have any thoughts, drop a comment below, subscribe to the channel. If you want to be surrounded by great people who share the same values as I do share, that you see on this channel, apply to join our community Helix that I've built across like the past 3 years, travel the world together. We help each other make a lot of money, but most importantly, build genuine relationships with each other. And if you want to be closer to my values, to my people, to these ideas, then either text me on Instagram the word Helix and I'll reply to you, not me, and not an appointment set about myself, or just click a link that you maybe see in this bio here, I'm not sure. And then you can check out this video, whichever tagged video here, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.